Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to talk about some of the other types of therapy. In the previous video, we talked about Freud's psychoanalytic approach to psychotherapy. And just as a reminder, psychotherapy, any type of therapy, is all about change, but psychotherapy specifically tries to change your unhealthy thoughts, feelings, or behaviors. So, besides the psychoanalytic approach, another type of therapeutic approach is behavioral therapy. And with behavioral therapy, the main goal is to simply change your behaviors. They're not trying to change your unconscious mind, like the psychoanalytic approach. They're not even trying to change conscious thoughts or how you feel about yourself. The goal, more specifically, is to just change your behaviors. So with that in mind, they've got a few different techniques that they utilize. One is called systematic desensitization. And in this process, they gradually help you to overcome your fears in a step-by-step process. So if you had a fear of driving in bad weather conditions on busy roads, they might start by having you just get in the car and then get in the car and turn the engine on. Get in the car, turn the engine on, and maybe drive around an empty parking lot. Then maybe drive down a quiet street. Or if you had a fear of snakes, they might have you look at a photo of a snake, then a video, then be in a room with a snake on the far other corner of the room, and then have you gradually approach it. That's systematic desensitization. They also sometimes use a technique called aversion therapy, where they let you engage in the unhealthy behavior, but they make it so unpleasant you won't want to do it again. So there's a drug called antabuse that they sometimes prescribe, psychiatrists would prescribe, that'll make you sick every time you drink alcohol. Or they could let you, if you're trying to overcome your cigarette smoking problem, they could let you smoke, but every time you smoke, you inhale the smoke from like 5 or 10 cigarettes. It's so unpleasant, hopefully you won't want to do it again. Another technique is called flooding, and this is where they immediately expose you to the thing that you fear. So after giving you some relaxation strategies, they might have you just get on that airplane because you've always had a big fear of flying. Or if you feared giving a speech, they might give you some tips on how to reduce your stress, deep breathing, muscle relaxation, and then have you give that speech. Sometimes they'll use modeling, role-playing. They'll have you act things out with a therapist. After doing it there, it might be easier in the real world. And sometimes they'll have you keep track of your behaviors, like when do you smoke, when do you bite your nails. And once you see a common pattern there, then you can work on doing something else at that time rather than giving in to that temptation. Another type of therapy is called cognitive therapy that focuses on changing your unhealthy thoughts. The belief there is that the problem, this is going to sound funny, the problem is not the problem is how you think about the problem. So you may say, well, I'm depressed because my dad died. Well, it's not really because your dad died, it's because of how you feel about his death. If you think I can't live without him, you're going to feel horrible. You're going to feel depressed. If you're thinking, you know what, at least he's not suffering anymore, you're going to feel better. So on the notes for this chapter, I've given you some examples, like maybe you fail a test and think, well, I'm such an idiot. And if that's what you think, you're going to feel terrible. But if you fail a test and think, you know what, that was a really rough test, you're not going to feel as bad. Or if you're thinking, man, I just arrived here, I really should have worn a fancier dress or a tie, you're going to feel horrible. You're going to feel awkward and uncomfortable. But if instead you can think, you know what, hey, I'm much more comfortable than everyone else in the room, I hate wearing ties, you're not going to feel as bad. Again, the point is change your thoughts, you change your feelings. If you're thinking, man, I did horrible in today's baseball game, well, you're probably going to feel bad. If you think, you know what, yeah, I messed up that play, but I still had some other good moments during the game, you're not going to feel as bad. And one other type of therapy I want to talk about is the humanistic approach, and their belief is that it's your low self-esteem that's causing you to have problems, or the belief that you can't do it. So they believe that once you believe in yourself and you feel good about yourself, you can accomplish anything. But in order to do that, the therapist is going to reflect and restate what you have said, so that way you know that they are hearing you. They're going to demonstrate empathy. I know what you're feeling. I understand how you're feeling right now. They're going to give you unconditional positive regard. In other words, they're going to believe in you. They're going to support you, even at times where you don't feel like you can do that to yourself. They're going to be very genuine and honest with you, even if the truth hurts sometimes. Okay, I'm quoting Lizzo there. Even if it hurts, they're going to be genuine and honest with you. The belief is that if they can be honest with you, you can start being more honest with yourself. Hope that helps you understand some of the therapies.